My name is Max.
That figures. What a stupid name!
About a year ago, I made a video on hidden details in the classic point-and-click adventure game Sanitarium. A viewer in the comments told me about an Easter egg I missed. That led me to research other Easter eggs, and the result is this video. So here are 3 obscure Easter eggs in Sanitarium, and at the end I'll talk about 2 bonus details that you also probably missed. In the chapter The Morgan Cemetery, looking at these trees will inform the player about their mental state.
Even the trees appear to be insane.
But if you hold control and left click, you'll get an even crazier addition to the forest. A dancing spork. If you click on it, Max will say a couple of familiar things.
Interesting. There's something you don't see every day.
But then there's this.
Burn, baby, burn. Burn, baby, burn.
It doesn't sound like the same voice, and I don't recall this being anywhere in the game. I have no idea what this means. In the chapter The Circus of Fools, a fortune teller explains what you need to get to the next area. When she's finished, she teleports you back to the big top.
Ooh, wow!
So, what happens if you talk to her a second time? Most players won't bother, because it takes a long time to walk back. There's nothing else that you need to do in that area of the map, and you have to pay 5 more tickets to go through the House of Horrors on the way. But if you do go through the trouble, here's what she says.
Would you tell me my future?
I don't see why you think that your future has changed, but I will humor you with one more reading. Let's see. I didn't see this before. This wavy line is very interesting. It curves back on itself. Sometime in the near future, you will have a powerful machine. You will play games on this machine. A game called Sanitarium. How odd. Now I am completely drained, and I must send you away once more. Hocus pocus!
Pretty neat, right? And if you go through a third time, this happens.
Back again? Didn't you ever hear of going to the well one too many times, you greedy child? I think you need to be taught a lesson.
I feel all sick.
Yes, she turns you into a frog. If you go to the fortune teller a 4th time, the same thing happens. In a post-mortem blog post, the game's co-writer says this. Travis Williams, Sanitarium's executive producer, put a lot of heart into the project. We were so grateful, we put his head in the game. And it turns out, yes, the head of Travis Williams is in the game, and here's how to find it. A big thank you to Mock, I don't know if I'm saying that right, for posting a video describing the method. In the second chapter, The Innocent Abandoned, walk inside the shack with the red herring painted on top. Click on this feather of the angelic statue. It's the second feather from the left. Then, this happens.
Aha!
As a crow, we can fly anywhere in the level. We can't interact with things aside from looking at them, and we can't go inside buildings. But if we fly to the lower right corner of the map, we find an area that's normally inaccessible. That, ladies and gentlemen, is Travis Williams. If you click on him, he says this.
Gross him out.
It sounds like gross him out to me, maybe some kind of art direction. To turn back into human Max, fly over to the angelic statue and click on the same feather.
Diagnosis crazy.
And that's the Easter eggs. With that out of the way, here's something else that I failed to mention the first time around. I explained the running gag of the red herring in the first video. There's a red herring on this shack, this asylum patient dances with a red fish, and you can find this in the Aztec chapter.
A ruby fish. Its blood-like coloring must indicate something important.
What I didn't explain is that you can show this fish to the fisherman's wife for some extra dialogue. The sound effects in the area make this hard to hear, but she says that her husband would curse his luck if a red fish ended up in his net, and that red herrings are useless things that simply take up space. Finally, I was replaying the game a while ago, and in between the second and third chapters, a cutscene played that I had never seen before. I reloaded my Chapter 2 save, tried again, and it didn't play that time. I went to YouTube and watched this section in a lot of Let's Plays, and none of them had the cutscene either. I submitted this as a bug to ScumVM, but the person responsible for the Asylum engine set me straight. It turns out you can actually trigger the cutscene by clicking on the wall of the chapel anywhere in this region. It's high up, so it's not an obvious area to click on. So how did I trigger it? The trigger area extends just far enough that there are a few pixels of it in the upper left-hand corner of the screen during the level transition. I'm guessing that I had jammed my cursor into the corner and was just clicking absent-mindedly. Speaking of ScumVM, there's one other thing that I just found out and I thought it was worth sharing. In the last video, I spoke at length about the differences between the Steam and the GOG releases. Well, ScumVM officially added support for Sanitarium earlier this year, and the GOG release now runs on ScumVM. In fact, when GOG Galaxy updated my game, it removed the original executable, so I can't run it that way even if I wanted to. This means some of the things in the last video are now obsolete. For instance, some of the movement glitches no longer work. There are also some inconsistencies. For instance, the floating bodies in Chapter 4 are moving way too fast. One eagle-eyed player submitted a bug report, and this is fixed in the daily development build, but it'll be a while before that fix and others make it to GOG. Still, it's wonderful that we can get bug fixes at all. The game plays nicely, and they even fixed the aspect ratio, which was my biggest complaint previously. As of today, I recommend GOG over Steam if you're going to buy the game. And that's it. I'd like to send a big thank you to all of my patrons, and I'll see you in the next one.
What's your name?
What's it to you, dumbass?